All right. Hello.
Good morning, Ed.
Morning. All right. I don't think people know this, but you're going to be on the radio this weekend filling in for Mike Kelly on the Real Estate Jerky.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So everybody listen to Bobby on Saturday, 12 to 1, and then the thing replays 10 to 11 on Sundays. Then we turn it into podcast and YouTube on Monday.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know that. So drop that out there for you.
Looking forward to it. It's been a while, man.
Yeah. Been doing a lot of community stuff. So yeah. And for a while there, I didn't really control everything we did. People thought I did, but now I do. So it's
puppet master.
No, it's been nice having more control over it. And because I do multiple podcasts and other stuff that I have total control over, and I can do so much more, like throwing my keys on the floor.
Yeah.
But anyway, kind of, again, rates are all over the place this week. That's, certain things came out. They're going to go up and down. It's one of those markets where we don't really know where rates are going at a certain moment in time. So when you get into contract, lock your rate.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people ask me, should they do the 90-day lock while you're shopping? And my problem with that is if you do with me, it's no big deal. I'll move you to a different investor and we'll take the newest rate. So we can do that for you. I've done that before. But if you listen to some of those people on TV, the commercials, listen to it closely, what they say. They say, you can lock your rate for 90 days and then you can refinance anytime in the next 3 years. Did you hear them say that they will drop your rate during that period of time if rates go down a certain amount? No, they don't say that. They say, and you can refinance anytime in the next 3 years. No, you can refinance anytime in the next 30 years, that whatever depends on works for you, or you go with a broker and that person can adjust. They can lock you for that period of time and then adjust it to the current market once you get into contract.
Yeah.
So that's what I recommend to do. A lot of investors hate me, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I do best for my clients, not best for my investors or my wholesale lenders. I do what's best for my clients, period.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Which kind of led me to a question. And, I get this question from time to time because now sellers are offering credits, right?
You mean like closing cost credits, money towards the buyer, throwing them.
Yeah. So we're seeing, as much as that's all right.
Like a little, throwing the money at them.
Yeah. Like I recently had a listing where we're offering a 1% credit, right? Because especially when rates had that adjustment, there was kind of a concern for people. So in order to, we kind of take away that objection by saying, hey, we'll help you buy down your rate.
Right.
But
1%. So what was the purchase price?
$542.
All right. So let's just say the loan's going to be $400,000. So you'll have $4,000 towards closing costs, right?
Yeah.
$4,000 towards closing costs. Just so people know what 1% is. It's usually 1% of the loan amount is what you're doing. It could be the purchase price, depending on the size, depending on what you set up. But most of the time they say 1%. Did you say max a dollar amount or you just said 1%?
1% of the purchase price.
Yeah. I always tell people it's best if you're going to do like percentages, say, okay, or max of this. You follow me?
Yeah.
Just so that people know,
But yeah. So at what point in time does it make sense for someone to use that to buy down their rate or to just simply use it towards closing costs?
Well, it depends. And the reason I say it depends because, all right, say that on a lot of the contracts I've seen lately, people were asking for 2% or 3%, so that sometimes that's $15,000. Well, on most of the time, I don't have $15,000 in closing costs to absorb that. So we will have to use some of the money to buy down the rate, which means you're taking the rate from the current market rate, which means there's no cost for that particular interest rate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say that, okay, well, say you're at hypothetically 5%, but 4.75 costs $3,000 to get that rate because that's the cost of that rate. That's how rate sheets kind of work. Then you could use $3,000 to buy it down to 4.75. That saves you maybe, $18, $20 a month, right? So, and this is when people ask me, why don't I charge points? Why don't I have people pay discount points? So that $3,000 cost would be a discount cost, when we say discount points, it's that 1% that you were just talking about you were going to give. So when we say 1% or 2%, well, it doesn't have to be that. It could just be a flat fee of $3,735. That's what it costs for that rate that day. So what I tell people is if you're going to pay it yourself, you look at how much you save per month and divide it in that cost. So if I'm only saving, let's just say $30 and it costs me $3,000, how many months is it going to take me to pay myself back? That's 100 months. That's almost 10 years. Well, it's less than 10 years, but it's pretty close to 10 years. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
You're going to refinance before then. You're going to put a pool in before then. You're going to do something way before then, unless you're Bobby. But everybody else in the world is going to do something before then.
Slow and steady, man.
I'm just telling you. So what I tell people is if there's money left over on the table, yes, use it to buy the rate down. In this market so years ago, back in the day, we would do 2-1 buy downs because there was nothing in the future showing that rates were going to go down or do anything. They're just going to be steady for a long time, right? Because we were in a high rate environment. We'd never seen 3.25 rates. And the reason I say 3.25 is because we've been there a couple of times over the last 6 years. And then we went lower than that this last time. But we didn't know. We were in a 5%, 6% market, and we didn't know if rates were going to go down anytime. We just know just came from 7 and 8 and other stuff. And so we never know. So everybody did 2-1 buy downs. So it's meant you buy your rate down 2% the first year, 1% the second year, and goes to the fully index rate the third year. Because that was just an easy way to get people in. Well, in this market, if we go into this recession is longer or whatever, or if we get out of it and we don't have it and all of a sudden the market's amazing. But when you have Jerome Powell, I had that quote earlier this week that said, what did Jerome Powell said? He said, that typically means that they're going to raise their rates even more, which is going to push us into more of a recession. And I think if that's going to happen, then we're going to see lower interest rates down the road. That's kind of what we've been saying all year until recently. People are like, I don't think they're going to be inflation or GDP, that we're in a recession. We might show a short and out, and then I think we're going to be back in because what the Fed has to do to stop this inflation. Yeah. So answer to your question. I know I didn't answer it right away. Again, it goes to the whole thing. It depends, because if say that your seller is giving you extra money, let's buy the rate down, because a 2-1 buy down costs a lot of money, and it depends on the size of the loan. I don't want to get into how much that costs, but it's got, you definitely, when you do a 2-1 buy down, it's seller paid, which means the seller pays that fee. That's the only way to get it done. Okay. And say it's 2%. Well, that could be 10 grand. Well, if you have 12 grand in closing costs, why not keep your 10 grand in your pocket and have the seller pay that? Because what happens when you get into your house? Oh, I need to paint it. Oh, yeah, this just happened. Oh, I need I need new carpeting because this carpeting is dirty. I thought I could clean it, but I can't. There's things that come up that I'd much rather you have that money for, just in case something, life events, as we call them, comes up, right?
Water heaters,
babies.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Lord knows.
I'm just saying, there's stuff I would and that's when a lot of people come to me and go, I want to put 20% down. And I'd show them, don't put 20% down. Keep that extra 30 grand or 40 grand or 50 grand in your account for what ifs. Yeah. And much better have that extra money. That's the only thing Dave Ramsey and I agree on, is having that cash in your account for the what ifs and those emergency funds and the other funds. Yeah. I believe in that. That's what you need to have, that extra money, because money is opportunity and also protects you.
Well, and it's not liquid then, right? If you put it toward your house, well, that's it. It's not like you can go ask the bank and say, hey, can I get that back?
No, because when you want that money or need that money, you can't get it.
Yeah.
It's when you don't need it or don't want it is when we want to give it to you. Right. Yeah. I have a high FICO and I have a lot of equity. I don't. And then when you come to me, I have a low FICO because this happened. Can't help you.
Yeah.
Just keep the money. For most people, the difference in the payment is $100, and then the mortgage insurance might be $70. So it's $170. You can pay $170 out of that 50, 30, 40, 40 grand, many months until you get used to it, to make your life easier.
And that's why, it's so important. When I'm talking to clients, I always tell them, what, go ahead and give Ed a call. He can go over the numbers with you and help it make sense, because I'm always telling folks, like, you really don't need to put 20% down. If a lot of times people have this in their head, they're like, I want to put as much towards this house as I can. I'm like, there's other ways where you could actually benefit by, say, coming up with a plan to put more towards your principal every month and pay off the house quicker than.
Or how about do you have your fully funded, accounts for your kids to go to college? Do you have fully funded other stuff? No. Oh, it's time to go there, Bobby. You got to go pick somebody up, change a diaper. I'm just messing. So there's stuff like that you need to look out for. Put extra money in that kind of stuff. Put money away in your 401k, 403b, IRA, whatever it is, instead of putting it on your house. You'll pay your house off on a normal basis by just making the payment. The other stuff you need to build so that you don't have to hit your house when you're going to retire for retirement money.
Yeah.
You follow me here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important to know and have a plan for the future. And a lot of people don't. And that's why it's important for me to talk to you up front, because even if you don't use me, you're going to learn a lot of information. But normally what happens is by the time I'm done talking, everybody's like, yeah, I want to use you because you told me this in this 10-minute conversation I haven't heard in months from the person I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
And that's important. So, and that's why I do a radio show. I do the podcast. I do other stuff to get information out there for people to make really good decisions. And that's why I'm doing the book. Yeah. I just plugged my book.
Hey. Yeah. When's it coming out again?
Soon. I don't know if I could have it ready by October. I don't know if I want to have it in October or first part of the year. You know what I mean? So I'm going to figure that all out.
Well, now why not October? You think
it'd be more towards the end of it, closer to November, which holidays and other stuff, and people might not even know it. I don't know. I'm going to figure it out once it's finalized. I have more editing and more. The book cover's been done. I'm waiting for a couple posts for the back of it from a few people, and then it'll be ready to go.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, like I've said before, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I can send it to you to read. But yeah. Do an edited version. All right, everybody. Thank you again. We appreciate you here. And if you like what we do here, follow. And like I said before, we need more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm just trying to get to a certain point. We really appreciate if you would do that.
Yeah.
Bobby, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ed. And a lot of the content we put on there is still relevant, even if you watch it, 6 months from now. So especially when we're talking about technical aspects of buying a home.
Yeah.
So.
And we also cut up little clips so that you can just go directly to the questions and certain questions. So we do a lot of editing, and I just noticed the other day I have like 850
nice
videos.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Man. Good for you.
Yeah. And you're in a bunch of them.
Hey.
Anyway, all right, everybody, make it a great day, and we'll talk to you next week.
Alrighty.
All right. And don't forget, Bobby's on the radio show this weekend. Check him out.